You would think that a game where you could play as a character with super strength, agility, stamina, shooting and driving skills would be nothing less than awesome, but you'd be wrong. Crackdown 3 checks all the boxes that should make a third-person shooting arcade game fun, exciting, and memorable, but somehow it falls flat on its face in its execution, never really achieving success in-game like it does on paper. Crackdown 3, like its predecessors, is a third-person, over-the-top action shooter. Guns are plentiful, explosions are non-stop, and enemy fodder die by the hundreds in Crackdown 3's moderately long campaign that lasts about 10 to 15 hours. Of course, mileage will vary depending on how many side activities you complete along the way. These activities are the typical affair when it comes to side quests, such as rooftop running and driving races, climbing towers, destroying bases, and shooting bad guys. Nothing really spectacular here. Searching for agility and hidden orbs is still the highlight in Crackdown 3, and most players will be absorbed into searching every nook and cranny, listening for the orbs sound effects. Completing activities add to your agent's level and experience. The more you do, the better your agent will become. Find more orbs and you'll unlock the ability to jump higher and possibly a double jump. You can choose any agent at any time and your experience carries over through each agent. The only difference between agents are some minor XP perks and some visual effects. Crackdown 3 ditches some of the visual effects of each agent's leveling like the first Crackdown. While each agent will still become visually bigger and outfits will slightly change, your agent's face will no longer do so. The single-player campaign is a mix between some animated and still cutscenes where you play as an agent, blah blah blah. It actually doesn't really matter. The premise of Crackdown 3 hasn't changed since 1 and 2. Shoot everything, blow everything up, jump 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 until you can't go any higher, repeat the process. This process wouldn't serve up tedium if the events in Crackdown 3 were worthwhile, but repeating the same activities over and over become a bore after a few hours. No matter what the activity or mission, the game blurs into nothing more than constantly shooting and blowing stuff up. Enemies come at you relentlessly, and it's sometimes hard to even see what you're killing. Heck, I even killed a boss without even knowing it. This wouldn't be an issue if shooting and blowing stuff up felt great. While jumping and running do feel great, the shooting and explosions lack the oomph that this game desperately needs. In a game where enemies come at you non-stop, ammo is essentially unlimited, and you can wield 3 weapons at the same time that can each level a city block, the game better have the feedback both visually and audibly to relay this awesomeness to the player. Sadly, it doesn't. The overall feel of Crackdown is that of a game of missed opportunities. It feels like a game that was held back in some way, keeping the player from truly feeling like the super badass agent you play as. Crackdown 3 doesn't really shine in any aspect that makes the game great. Graphically, while the game does look sharp, it still feels dated, falling into the traps of open-world games like bad draw distances and object pop-in. Searching for agility orbs is that much harder, being that the game doesn't render them until you're semi-close to them. Sound-wise, the game is also subpar, with sound effects, background music, and voiceover work never really standing out. Control of your agent does feel nice, however, until he jumps in a vehicle which feels way too floaty. Most of these issues are compounded in Crackdown 3's multiplayer destructive mode called Wrecking Zone, which is nothing more than players versus players in shooting matches in a destructive environment. This destruction was the selling point of Crackdown 3, and players have been waiting years to try it out. While the destruction is a nice addition, it doesn't save the multiplayer mode from feeling extremely generic. Sadly, none of the destruction from the multiplayer carries into the single-player game. Another missed opportunity. The single-player campaign does have a multiplayer aspect in the form of co-op, where you and a buddy can play the campaign together. Always a welcome addition to any game. This does help alleviate some of the game's tedium. Still, there is a certain charm to Crackdown 3 that will keep players engaged and coming back to collect every orb. Avoiding the game's main story and side missions still leaves a game chock full of jumping, scaling, and platforming, which is the best part of Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 gets a 6.5 out of 10 and a buy later, but if you don't want to wait till later, it's also part of Xbox Game Pass, so you can try it there also. The original Crackdown was a memorable experience 12 years ago for its superpower over-the-top action. And while Crackdown 3 also has superpower over-the-top action, it will ultimately be remembered for feeling a little too similar to prior titles and failing to give players a world where they truly feel like a superhuman agent of destruction. So remember, if you liked the review, remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Till next time, keep on gaming.